Albeit ever so humble, there's no place like home. We're back in Southern California at the Cabazon Dinosaurs, better known as the Pee-wee Dinosaurs, right here in Cabazon, California, the gateway between Palm Springs and the vast desert behind us, and Southern California proper, the beach, Disneyland, and everything else just beyond. These dinosaurs are some of the most famous, most iconic roadside attractions in roadside attraction history, but also in movie history because of Pee-wee's Big Adventure. At first glance, you think, why not some huge concrete dinosaurs in and of themselves? What an amazing thing to stop and look at. And yet, Mr. Rex and Diny the dinosaur back there aren't just here for the pure love of dinosaurs or huge concrete things. They were built by a very special man with a very special vision and a very special purpose right along the side of old Interstate 10. And that purpose, believe it or not, was to advertise a restaurant. Diny, the currently big pink brontosaurus, has been here for 62 years. Mr. Rex has been standing out here for about 45 years with no sign of leaving us or going away anytime soon. But the restaurant they were originally built to advertise, at least in part, has now long gone the way of their prehistoric predecessors, erased from existence, and only the fossils remain. This right here off the side of I-10 was the site of the Wheel-In Restaurant with home cooking, as the sign says right there. A restaurant opened in 1958 by a man named Claude Bell and his wife. And it wasn't randomly chosen. Claude Bell had bought the land in the 1940s and hadn't built on it until the 1950s to capitalize on the traffic that would be coming through what would become I-10 between the, at that time, very popular desert oasis of Palm Springs and Southern California proper, Disneyland, and of course, Knott's Berry Farm, where for many years, Claude Bell made his career as an artist. He owned the portrait gallery there. It's now the Geode Shop, where he and his family would draw little caricatures and portraits of people visiting Knott's Berry Farm. And Claude Bell famously was the concrete sculptor, the resident concrete sculptor at Knott's Berry Farm, creating those old Western concrete figures. Famously, the Prospector, Seldom Seen Slim, and the Mule that have adorned not only Knott's Berry Farm, but many other Western attractions over the decades. Claude Bell learned a lot from his time at Knott's Berry Farm, which was sort of an, if you build it, they will come, right? Get everybody's attention with the ghost town that Walter Knott was building, and even more people would come and dine at the Chicken Dinner restaurant. So, having opened his own restaurant here, the Wheel-In, in dusty Cabazon, California, and finding the competition to pull traffic off the highway and get them into all these little eateries being very, very fierce, Claude decided to up the ante and build something immense, magical, and huge. Something so big and bold, you would have to pull off the highway when you saw these guys. And by the way, they were much less obscured than they are now from the freeway. They used to be much, much, much more visible and stand out in the desert quite distinctly and apart from anything else out here when they were first built. He created his greatest, largest concrete creations of all time, the Cabazon Dinosaurs, or the Pee-wee Dinosaurs, but what should properly be known as Claude Bell's Dinosaurs. And these concrete sculptures have more than a little meaning to me, which we'll talk about in a second, but they were in fact built to pull visitors off the highway and get them into the Wheel-In Restaurant, which is obviously no longer standing. It finally closed and began various phases of demolition in 2013. It was not only featured in its day in the Tears for Fears music video for Everybody Wants to Rule the World, but also famously in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. This is where Pee-wee is dropped off, walks inside the restaurant and says, "Large Marge sent me." Right here. And of course, every time that I, as a young man, would head off with my punk rock band out to parts unknown, heading out on I-10 towards Phoenix and the rest of America, we would have to stop here, have to come inside the Wheel-In, past the pie case, and announce, "Large Marge sent me." But importantly, when a friend of mine finally made it to California for his first trips ever out here, we had to come out here and check it out as one of the filming locations for Pee-wee's Big Adventure. That friend, of course, my friend Adam the Woo. We did a big Pee-wee Herman filming locations episode for his channel in maybe 2011 or something like that. Of course, we ate here at the Wheel Inn in the booth that was the in memoriam to Large Marge. And anytime they closed up the restaurant or reopened it temporarily or began different phases of demolition, we would come back here. I think Adam filmed a whole abandoned video of it when it was just sitting here forlorn and the back door was open. Not only did we check out the diner downstairs, but upstairs was the original living quarters of the Bell family when they were out here managing the Wheel Inn. And now it's nothing but a dirt lot. The restaurant, built in 1958, has been totally outlived by the Dinosaurs built next door, meant to get visitors in the door. Pretty crazy. It probably didn't help that they sold off some of the land to open up the Burger King and the Denny's that were out here for years that sort of hastened the Wheel Inn's death. Ironically, now the Denny's and the Burger King are also closed and seemingly abandoned. As you see here, not much remains of the original Wheel Inn. The giant pit that was excavated when they demolished the place is now filled in with this gravel. The fence is down so you can walk on the former footprint. Whoa, run squirrel! You can walk on the former footprint of the Wheel Inn itself. There's not much here to tell the story now, except a couple of old Western looking retaining walls and those of us who remember. Now, I've just gotten back to California from a trip across the country from Florida. I was out there to lay my friend Adam the Woo to rest. As you can imagine, having dropped everything in my life for, well, more than a month, I've got a lot to do and a lot to catch up on. But before any of that began, I just wanted to come someplace just to feel a little contact with my friend. There being almost no place on earth he was more down to visit on a whim with me than the Cabazon dinosaurs out here. And I brought something very important with me. Well, two very important things I felt like bringing out here today. Number one, being Adam's Pee-wee Herman doll from his collector room, the Corridor of Goons, which has a whole backstory to it, I'll tell you guys very soon, actually. This was given to me by Adam's sister, Faith. He's come along with me on the whole road trip, the Vision Quest, back here to California from Florida. And before I put him up on a shelf in my own collector room, I thought it was highly appropriate to bring Adam's Pee-wee out here to the Cabazon dinosaurs, not only because it's just awesome, I mean, look at that, but because Adam and I both were always stoked to bring any kind of prop that we could to any stupid filming location video we did or any adventure that we went on. Star Wars action figures to Disneyland on Star Wars Day back in the day. Purchase a random Chucky doll from Spencer's Gifts or whatever to go and do Child's Play 2 filming locations. Bring any kind of Back to the Future props we could for Back to the Future filming locations, or of course, Pee-wee Herman action figures to Pee-wee's house or here at the Wheel Inn. So I brought Pee-wee back here. Adam was always fascinated, like I was, with the Wheel Inn itself, over and above just the dinosaurs. The history, the backstory, the fact that it was one man's crazy dream. Something about abandoned places always spoke to him. Obviously, he loved roadside attractions and 80s movies and filming locations and nostalgia in general. So the Wheel Inn always called to him in a very specific way. I'm honored to bring Pee-wee Herman here back to the Wheel Inn Large Marge sent me. Man, 2013, when the Wheel Inn was open last. It's not seem that long ago, or 2011 when we were here eating breakfast together and doing that Pee-wee's Big Adventure filming locations video, which by the way, Paul Rubin saw and left a comment on. Adam was so proud of that. It's amazing to me that it's all gone, all closed. Mostly because standing out here, it looks like it's been gone, abandoned, lost for, I don't know, 50 years or something. There are places much older that were abandoned much longer, still left along Route 66 and the highways and byways of America, the California desert. So it just seems wild to me that not only is the Wheel Inn gone, but even the pit that they left when they dug it out of here is all gone too. So I brought Adam's Pee-wee doll out here to see the dinosaurs once again, to say Large Marge sent him. And now let's talk about these dinosaurs really quick. Diny is the big pink one in the front. Yes, they're repainted. They've been doing that the last couple of years, repainting the dinosaurs seasonally. We're almost up to Valentine's Day now, so apparently that's what this new season's paint job is all about. From the tip of his nose to his tail, Diny right here is 150 feet long and 45 feet tall. It's weird though, because standing out here, he seems a lot taller than that. Built out of concrete and steel. Construction started in 1964 and wrapped up in 1975. So definitely a labor of love and something that was done in stages as Claude Bell had the money. It wasn't done all in a day. Most awesome of all, of course, Diny's got a big gift shop inside with some sculpted caveman, or the evolution of the caveman inside on display, and lots of dinosaur gifts, which he once again has inside his tummy today. Construction started on Mr. Rex in 1981. He was finished in 1986, so he wasn't even done when they filmed Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which is why they didn't film inside the actual head of Mr. Rex for the movie. I'm not sure it was ever truly even intended for you to get inside of Mr. Rex's mouth, which, by the way, today you can do, but when you get inside of Mr. Rex, you can see the old porthole, the main landing area where you were originally meant to pop out on his back and go down a slide. So there were some interesting plans there. And there were more than just these two dinosaurs scattered around. There were some other smaller pieces that Claude Bell had finished, and I'm sure he would have built more had he lived longer. This is a place, like I said, that my friend and I like to come to all the time. So I just wanted to pop out here on my one kind of free day before I have to deal with all the errands I have to deal with, and climb up into the mouth of Mr. Rex if I can. And the other thing I brought out here with me was this, one of the stickers from the last big batch of stickers that Adam made. He was going to pass out to people that he encountered on his road trips in 2026. And his family was kind of handing out to people who visited his house after he passed away. And I've had this with me the entire road trip, trying to think of the perfect place to stick it. And as there are a few places that Adam loved more in Southern California than these crazy dinosaurs, and I was driving by here the other night, I noticed my sticker was still here, peeling off a little bit. I'm gonna fix that in a second. And I thought, this is it. There could not be a more appropriate spot. So first, since I have the opportunity, let me fix that right there. See how long that'll last us. And now I'm just gonna stick Adam's sticker right there. Pardon me, I burst into tears right there for some reason. I don't think I'm all the way to acceptance yet. Trying to get there, trying to be there, but there it is right here on this pole as you enter the parking area. Got my old sticker there. And there's Adam. He stuck many a sticker himself out here, but I could find no trace of him. I've been looking. Maybe one of you guys can find them if you come out here. Anyway, there being no occasion to go inside of Denny's or the old abandoned Burger King, Adam and I got many a soda at and had many a conversation in. Let's see about getting up inside of Mr. Rex. To do that, you need to purchase a ticket into the dinosaur attraction built long after the days of Claude Bell that is now open behind it. Mr. Rex's Dinosaur Adventure. It's not my favorite thing in the world. Carrying Pee-wee around. I wish I had a satchel or something like that with me, but I'm gonna head over here. I'll probably look a little crazy, but that's nothing new. See if they're open today. See if we can get up inside Mr. Rex. The open sign is not lit. However, I can hear the background noise playing in the dinosaur garden. And as you can see, we can already see some dinosaurs out here. This place is awesome in its own right. Even if it didn't have Diny and Mr. Rex outside, this place would stand out. Look at this, they got this little private party patio out here now. All right, go pay my 15 bucks and head on inside of California's own Jurassic Park. Oh man, look at these light up dinosaurs in the entranceway. Before we go into the attraction itself, let's head out into the dinosaur garden and see what's going on. Oh, look at that. See, they're ready for Valentine's Day. You got the dinosaur egg chairs there right in front of the heart sweater here. As I was coming in, the guy in the ticket window was like, hey, I'm sorry for your loss. I saw you guys out here maybe last year in the parking lot. So yeah, showed them Pee-wee. So at least they know what I'm doing. They don't think I'm just nuts. Just, it's always one of the craziest places. It's like any dinosaur statue or part of a dinosaur statue they could get, they have thrown out here in this garden, and they have added to it and added to it and added to it. Look at even like little miniature dinosaurs, the big giant dinosaurs. I've never actually seen the kind of panning for gemstones area in operation, but I'm told they have all kinds of birthday parties and stuff out here, so that's probably when it's functional, or maybe on the weekends. Look at the size of that Rex right there. Oh, I like this. They painted this egg that you could pop out of for a fun pic. They painted it with Cabazon dinosaurs. Right on the cover, right on the fridge. They've added these like light up sculptures out here. When I was out here the other day, it was nighttime when I was cruising back towards home, and I could see all kinds of glowing plants and dinosaurs beyond the fence. I was wondering what was up with that. Well, now I know. They've got some glowing plants, glowing dinosaurs out here. It wasn't open when I was here, but the lights were all on. Now that's strange. All right, making our way back towards Mr. Rex. Looks like we got the whole place to ourselves, Pee-wee.
That's the way I like it. Wow.
I like dinosaurs, but the older and wackier and more roadside they look, the more I love them. The modern, very realistic looking ones are cool. I enjoy those, but anything that looks a little more handmade, a little more homemade, a little more unusual, goes right to my heart. Just taking a loop of the dinosaur track. You see, look, what this little crocodile down there, some concrete crocodiles. Just anything you can throw out here, do it. You got a big dinosaur to donate it to the Cabazon Dinosaurs. Making our way around the back here. This is where I saw all those light up dinosaurs just over this fence. It almost looks like they're parked there to be used at a later time or something. Kind of strange. Or maybe not. Maybe there's a little opening right here. Okay, yeah, look it. There's a little opening in the fence, like a little expansion pad. And these all light up. So they were very impressive looking, even from over the fence. I don't know where they came from, but these are all kind of glow in the dark, light up dinosaurs. It's almost like they came from somewhere else. Look at that. They're like glass or plastic or something, and some of them are cracked in some spots. Very hard for things to survive out here in the desert. High winds, rocks blowing through the air when the winds are high enough, and you see the back of Mr. Rex over there. We're going up inside in just a second. Dude, these are very weird. I really like it. This is one of those places we would come to over and over again, not because everybody would watch videos of it over and over, just because we liked coming here so much. There's an original Claude Bell creation down over there, the big flat turtle dinosaur thing. I can remember before the fence was here, climbing all over this guy. He was sort of lost in the sagebrush, sort of the least famous of the big concrete Claude Bell dinosaur creations out here. And now this is it, we're going up inside of Mr. Rex, who was closed off for years and years until they opened the first version of this attraction, which by the way was a creationist museum. There was literally an animatronic dinosaur in the sort of main exhibit over there, the indoor exhibit. And there was, I think, a knight either jousting with him or riding on him. I can't remember. And back in the day, you used to be able to see the dent, and you could still kind of make it out on Mr. Rex's back where the slide was. So that was still open. You could, at your own peril, try to climb up it and slide down. It never really worked though. But this door was always closed. It took them years to clean out and restore Mr. Rex. Apparently there were some rare owls or something nesting inside of him. There were bats. So it was pretty crusty and gnarly. And look at this. Pee-wee is returning to Mr. Rex for the first time in years and years. There's the stairway up to the first level where you would have gone down the slide, I believe. Got Mr. Rex all to ourselves today. It's very quiet and very red in here. You can see one of the original windows. They're all painted over now, even in Diny, I think. Yeah, right there, you can see the handrails, and you would have gone out a door right here, which they have now filled in with concrete and chicken wire. Used to just be blocked with a piece of wood. And then if you keep going and going and going, there's the spiral staircase up to Mr. Rex's mouth. Interesting, as you come up the stairs, there's these little foam dioramas that used to have dinosaurs in them. Just like spray foam dinosaur landscapes. They're now kind of fenced off, but it's cool that they're still sort of here. All right, let's go. Spiral staircases, especially old handmade ones, are not my favorite thing in the world. Let me just set Pee-wee down there. Somehow I made it out. I cannot believe that California, of all places, let them open this with this janky, sketchy staircase, but I'm glad they eventually did. All right, there it is. Mr. Rex's eyeballs. They used to be illuminated by a red light bulb here at night. Even all those years when the inside was abandoned and unable to be visited, you'd see the red glowing eyes. And then here is the mouth. Not a big area, quite small compared to what you see in the Pee-wee movie. And until they invented the wide angle, at least on the iPhone, notoriously difficult to take a selfie in. What do you think about that, Pee-wee? Man, I've only ever been up here a tiny handful of times without Adam. We usually made this journey together. You going out there? I'm gonna roll with you. And again, someplace I've been many times before and filmed many times before, but just a place I thought to myself I'd like to come and spend some time remembering today. Anyway, I've brought Pee-wee up here now. Had some reminiscing time. Head back down now. Oh, I forgot, down is the worst part. If I thought there was a way to leave Pee-wee safely here on display, I'd do it. But we'll bring him to Adam's memorial coming up. Okay, I gotta go down now. This is the part that I hate so much. Hate so much. Hate so much. Okay, oh my goodness, okay. All right, straight down we go. Come on, Pee-wee. Let's get out of here. It's one thing knowing in your head that things are never gonna be the same, but it's another thing coming to the places where, well, places like this where you spend so much time together and then having it sink in on another level and another level. So just like going to some of the spots that we met and hung out with each other in Florida, probably be doing that a little bit off and on in Southern California over the next, I don't know, couple of weeks. Like I said, it's part of the journey on the road to acceptance. Well, the guy was so friendly at the ticket booth, I might as well pop inside just for a second. I mean, I did pay the full price, $15. Nothing wrong with getting your money's worth, right? So go in for just a second. Oh man, they've really expanded a little trail behind the interior museum with these light up dinosaurs and some plaques that don't have writing on them yet. Look at that, it's fresh concrete right there, amazing. It's really weird to me whenever I come to a place like this and they remember me, or me and Adam in this case. Coming and checking stuff out, you never think you make any kind of impact. And then you come back to some of these places and find out like, no, we had so many more visitors because of you guys and this and that. Ooh, some places don't remember you, no matter how many people watch the video. Other places, 10 people could watch the video and they remember, they appreciate, and they're friendly forever. Cabazon is one of those places, I guess. I love this, all the nifty gifties and merchandise, the ride-on dinosaur, the animatronics everywhere. What a fun one. You can see how some of these things light up. I don't know where these came from. Do you know where they came from? No? Oh, you do? Too bad you don't speak English. This guy doesn't look like he wants to tell me. Huh? You don't want to tell me? Oh. He hasn't had his breakfast yet. All right, well, the friendly gal inside said she's pretty sure they found them all in one place. You know, they got them all from some one place, but she doesn't know where. I don't know if they were part of an old attraction or someone was just having a warehouse clear out or what, but I'm glad that the Cabazon Dinosaurs have got all these light up guys out here. Now I've got to figure out a way to come here after dark while it's still open. All right, I'm gonna go stick Pee-wee back in the car. Maybe climb up in Diny for 2 seconds and then hit the road. I love this guy outside. Especially because, like Monstro at Disneyland, he's only got the one eye. Just the one eye facing the tourists. The hand-painted wooden dinosaur cutouts. I love it. It's got a little mix of old school and new school and everything in between. All right, let's go climb up inside Diny. Dude, that thing is so pink. So pink. Here's a Cloud Bell original over here. This guy used to have a light bulb in his mouth. We all used to wrap our legs around him at the bottom and take stupid pictures when we were in the band. And then one time, we were looking at some old Green Day tour pictures from before they were famous. They were doing the same thing. Great minds think alike, I guess. Anyway, here's the door. I have to climb up the stairs, up inside of Diny. And Diny, because he wanted you to dine at his restaurant. See that? D-I-N-N-E-Y. Diny. Lots of newspaper articles here about Cloud Bell, his fantastic creations. Hard to see with the glare coming through the window. Then up past these display cases full of dinosaurs into the sanctuary. Ooh, it was very quiet up there inside of Diny today. As you can see all the nifty gifties around. Not all of the windows are completely covered, which is nice. And you see all these sculptures of caveman or the evolution of man done by Cloud Bell himself, and I presume that's his handwriting underneath them all too. All right, you see some of the vents now and stuff, light fixtures. It's more than just a big dinosaur, it's a big old building inside of a dinosaur. The best kind of building that there is. You no longer see up the neck of the dinosaur like you could in the olden days. They got it blocked off now by a curtain and some plush. But I always check if it's unblocked yet or not, because it's so cool just seeing the kind of chicken wire and rebar and sprayed concrete that created this from the inside. Pretty amazing. Anyway, before I get out of here completely, just wanted to come back and take a last glimpse, one last money shot view of my friends, the Cabazon Dinosaurs. So meaningful to me because of so many stops here in the middle of the night or in the daytime, all hours of the day, going back and forth out across the country on tour. And now, of course, going out around the country on Randomland. Adam would always stop here too if he was doing the I-10 corridor. So many memories out here with friends now. It's kind of a special place to me. All right, if that restaurant was still open, I would strongly encourage everyone, instead of going in and saying Large Marge sent you, go in and say Adam the Woo sent you. Since there is no restaurant, maybe do it at the Dinosaur Museum ticket window. Adam the Woo sent me. All right, let's get the heck out of here. Something else I wanted to see before I went home and washed all my laundry and did all my errands. So we're not quite done yet. It's just gonna take a little driving into the dirt cities to go check it out. All right, now just a couple days ago, we were in Tombstone, Arizona, talking about the Earps and the Clantons. Got another location in Tucson. It makes sense when you go to Tombstone, Arizona. Oh, the Earps, they lived out here. But did you know the Earps were actually residents of Southern California? Big time pioneers of this, the Inland Empire out here in Redlands. Temescal Canyon down by Tom's Farms was old Earp ranching territory, or prospective Earp ranching territory. But the city the most Earps spent the most amount of time in, down in Southern California, would have to be where we're going next. Colton, California. I know this isn't relevant to the dinosaurs or Pee-wee or Adam the Woo specifically, but because we were in Tombstone, Arizona the other day, and because I've been meaning to make a video about this place, which I've been to before for years and just haven't ever got around to it, I thought, you know what? While we're waiting for the big main video, which I'm still researching and have planned for many years, about the Colton Crossing War, which is a railroad war that happened here in town, and look at that. That was weird timing. And some of the other early Old West history out here in this weird satellite town to Riverside, California, that People pass on through on the freeway every single day without thinking about it being an Old West town. We might as well come out here while the Tombstone memories are still fresh to look at a tombstone. One among many old headstones that were moved here, but we'll get to that in a second. One right under this lonely tree in the southwest corner of the graveyard, the grave of Morgan Earp, Wyatt and Virgil's younger brother, participant in the gunfight at the OK Corral, assassinated in Campbell and Hatch's billiard parlor that we just saw, well, we just saw the rebuilt version, on Allen Street in Tombstone, Arizona, March 18th, 1882. Right after we visited Tombstone the other day, we went down to the rail depot in Tucson, Arizona, where Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday famously killed Frank Stillwell, who was there with Ike Clanton, probably trying to ambush the Earps, and they were shipping Virgil back here, but also Morgan's body. He had been assassinated in Tombstone after Virgil. They attempted to assassinate him, but crippled him for life, ruining, he lost the use of one of his arms forever. The reason they shipped Morgan to Colton is because this is where his wife was, and his parents, she was staying with them. The patriarch of the clan, Nicholas Porter Earp, was here. A lot of Earp family history in the Inland Empire. And Morgan was originally laid to rest in another cemetery that was later abandoned, and then I think relocated because they used the ground for a gravel mine or something like that. Not all of the graves were properly relocated, but this was a famous one and an important one, and one that can supposedly be trusted. And so here he lies, like I said, in almost the very southwestern corner of the cemetery. U.S. Deputy Marshal Morgan S. Earp, born 1851, assassinated Tombstone, Arizona, March 18th, 1882. And then look at this, later on, this was placed here in memory of Morgan Earp, dedicated March 18th, 2013. So on the anniversary of his assassination by the Colton Police Department in recognition of 125 years of law enforcement service. And that would include Morgan's brother. By the way, is that a bullet that's just not fired? Is that just like a full-on bullet? I don't know. Is that safe? That is a bullet, just an unfired bullet, just hanging out on an old Western grave. I'm gonna put it back because it's Morgan's bullet, it's not my bullet. Virgil Earp, after returning here to Colton, California and staying with his parents, I don't think the parents' home is still standing. That's the thing I've been doing so much research on. I've never been able to figure out. Despite having the use of only one of his arms, Virgil became Colton City Marshal. He was here during the Colton Crossing Railroad War, which is where the Southern Pacific tracks that were coming through town were crossed by the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe, if I'm remembering all this correctly. This is all off the top of my head. And each side hired armed guards to prevent the Santa Fe from crossing the Southern Pacific. It was a whole big thing. Virgil was actually present on the scene with a shotgun, which is all a story for another time. It's very hard to get to that site of the Railroad War. It's still railroad property and guarded and no trespassing and all that stuff. So I've been working on it in bits and pieces throughout the years. Morgan, like I mentioned, was originally buried in Mount Slover Cemetery, which was a big limestone mountain located here in Colton. The cemetery was eventually abandoned. They quarried away almost the entire hill. In fact, from here, I believe that's Mount Slover, or the former remains of Mount Slover off that way. Traveling back and forth on the freeway as a kid, you could watch them still dismantling that mountain. That's where the cemetery was originally located and was quarried away by the Portland Cement Company, I think. That limestone was later used to make cement all over Southern California. So I guess it went to good use. And Morgan's now lying in the Hermosa Gardens Cemetery here, or just Hermosa Cemetery, a cemetery that's very much still in use. I can see one of the tents here for a recent burial, and you'll have 1800s, pioneering old Western graves here, mixed in with much, much more modern burials throughout. You can see here is a memorial to the great train wreck of 1907. There was a Colton rail yard tragedy that occurred back then 24 people died in that train accident. 18, it says, were Italian immigrants, some of whom are still buried right in this area where we now stand, moved here from the other cemetery as well. So there's all kinds of graves here, from the very recently departed all the way back to graves from the Old West. And under this tree is one of the most famous Old Western graves, the grave of Morgan Earp, assassinated Earp brother shortly after the events of the gunfight at the OK Corral, in which he participated. You can see there who donated the headstone for Morgan. Everyone agreed he was the most likable of the Earp brothers, the most friendly, and definitely the trigger of his assassination, of Wyatt Earp's vendetta ride. Changed the course of Old Western history, or legendary history anyway. But now, of all places, buried in Colton, California. And I feel like most people in Southern California, even if they get into Old Western stuff, most people have seen the movie Tombstone and stuff. And of course, everybody loves Morgan Earp in the movie Tombstone. I feel like most of those people in Southern California have no idea Morgan is buried here. Just a couple hundred yards maybe from the 10 freeway. There are still Earp descendants of the greater Earp family living in Southern California in the Inland Empire to this very day. I've met some of them, but none willing to go on camera with me. Maybe that'll change in the future. I'm sure if you grew up in Colton, you probably know about this grave and about the next place we're going, because this is not where the Earp history ends. Like I mentioned, the father of all the Earp boys, who's buried in Los Angeles, by the way, Nicholas Porter Earp, had his home here in the city of Colton. And I cannot figure out whether that house is still standing or not. The closest I've gotten is an intersection. I need to probably rendezvous with some of the local historians now, because things may have changed in the last 10 years that I was doing my research. But there is still an Earp family home standing in the city of Colton. We're gonna go do a drive-by right now. A drive-by looking, not a drive-by shooting. I left the bullet over there, I promise. Driving through Colton today, you'll mostly see post-World War II houses, but if you keep your eyes open every once in a while, especially as you get closer to the historic core, older houses will pop out at you. What we're looking for is the former home of none other than Virgil Earp, the home he lived in when he became Colton's first official city marshal in 1887. Astoundingly, this is not a famous tourist attraction. There's no historical plaque outside. But the home has survived just up here around the corner, surrounded mostly by much more modern buildings, although you can see a few historic homes dotted throughout the landscape here and there. Let's check this out. What we're looking for is 528 West 8th Street. Oh, and here it is. Let me pull over. Oh yeah, there it is. I have not seen this in years. It's been a long time since I've set foot on this street, but that's it right there, 528. That is Virgil Earp's home. From the late 1880s, after Tombstone, he came here. There are conflicting accounts as to whether or not his parents also lived at this same address. I don't believe so. I think they lived in a different spot that's now covered by the I-10 freeway, which you can still hear from the front porch of this house, by the way. But look at this. It's been added onto over the years. The sort of crisscross stuff on the window was added later, when the house was restored some years back. And it's seen better days, but it could be a lot worse. Look at that. Virgil Earp's former home right there. Crazy. A very famous old Western lawman lived here. I bet he didn't have a pool in the backyard like I can see today, back when he lived here in the 1880s. 1887 is one of the only confirmed dates that we've got, because we know he was living here when he became the city marshal. But he lived here with his wife, Allie Earp. Maiden name was Sullivan. Right here in this house. Probably the same old concrete steps. Well, maybe not. Maybe he had wooden steps. No plaque, no sign. Man, even Doc's old house site in Griffin, Georgia that we saw on our vision quest back to California had at least a historical sign out in front of it. But in Colton, mum's the word. You know what? I don't even think they had that pool in the backyard, which is visible from the fence. Not like I creeped back there. I don't think they had that pool. The last time I was here, probably 10 years ago, and the last time before that was maybe 2005, so I'm a little over 20 years ago. When I first came here in 2005, you know what? It was earlier than that. It was like maybe 2003 the first time. But in 2005, I came here with my buddy, Glenn of Feliz Navidad fame, and we got super, super yelled at for looking at this house and taking pictures with an old disposable camera. I feel like nowadays, since the advent of the internet, and lots of Western fans do make a pilgrimage out here, and they've had like Colton historical days and all that kind of Earp days and stuff. So nowadays, I feel like with the internet, if you live in a famous historical house, people have stopped by and you're more used to it. But back then, it was still no social media yet. And that was a very rare occurrence. What are you doing, taking a picture of my effing house? I think we almost got the law called on us that day. But there it is. Virgil Earp's house, Colton, California. I don't know if he was living in that house by the time of the Colton Crossing War, but he was certainly living in this city with his parents right after the OK Corral gunfight. This is where he came to rest and recuperate. And I believe Morgan's wife stayed living with the family for quite a long time. They had sisters and other brothers coming in and out of here. Wyatt certainly had been in Colton, although we don't know if he ever went to this house specifically. But he ended up living in LA, so it is entirely possible. He spent a lot of time in Southern California as well. So it's possible Wyatt Earp and Virgil sat in this very house reminiscing about the old OK Corral, Tombstone, gunfighting days. And now there's kids playing on this street. It's just a quiet street in a normal neighborhood in a dusty satellite town in the Inland Empire of Southern California, but once home to old, wild Western legends. And it's one of their final resting places. A lot of history in Colton I'd like to explore more. I gotta find a way to the old crossing. They've since realigned the railroad tracks, but the old spot where the two railroads crossed and where the old Colton Crossing War was, I just came back to Morgan's grave to pay my last respects in case it's another good while till I come back. And maybe because of recent events, I'm just sort of drawn to graveyards lately. Helps me do a little pondering, just like that squirrel is pondering right there. But what he's thinking about, too crazy to mention. It's nuts. Anyway, it is just about 5 o'clock, which means all of the freeways in Southern California are about to be absolutely gridlocked. I will spare you that drive, as I wish I could be spared myself. I got some pretty important personal matters that are going to take me out of town through the weekend in the next couple of days. There may be a chance for some adventuring during that, but I'm not sure how much. After that, it'll be business as usual. The show must go on. We'll be back to something like normal, I hope. Until then, if you want to help keep the show on the road, there's links down below for the merch store, which we just restocked books, so there are signed books. We got the hats, we got the hot sauce, the best hot sauce ever. But for now, we've done our duty. Time to go home and sleep well. See you next time. Oh wait, the camera's still up there. I didn't think that part through, 'cause now I have to come back and retrieve you.
But what? Everyone I know has a big butt. Come on, Simone. Let's talk about your big butt.
Dude, look at that! Somebody built some Olmec heads here off the side of Valley Way. Where are we? Arupa Valley? Beaumont? Little Stonehenge action, little Olmec action. Those look very custom made right there. I don't know whose those are, but I applaud you. Yes, dude, those are sick. Sick!
I don't know what else to say. Mount Slover Cemetery. Mount Slover Cemetery. Mount Slover Cemetery. You know what? I don't even know if the hill that you see now that's all dirt was Mount Slover or if the mountain was in front of that. But I can remember watching that mountain still being dismantled all the way towards the end of the 20th century. Mount Slover. Gone, but not forgotten. Well, mostly forgotten. You hear the trains rolling through down there on the old Southern Pacific tracks. Colton, California. You can see why they settled here. Rolling hills, plenty of fertile dirt, the railroad. Not sure why it's not more high-toned and popular now, but Colton, California, a lot of history, a lot of pioneering history. I don't know why I'm filming this. I'm just talking to myself now. In the graveyard. Perhaps I've gone mad. That's what they'd like to think. Oh, I better go lay down.